While 100 million adults in China are affected by COPD, less than 7% are properly diagnosed. Shortness of breath is commonly mistaken as a natural part of aging. So, to encourage early checkups, we turned a mobile phone into a self-testing tool. Introducing Breath of Life. Inspired by the traditional Chinese art form of blow painting, we collaborated with a well-known artist and a leading pulmonologist to create Breath of Life, a revolutionary new app for self-testing of COPD. Housed on WeChat, China's most popular mobile platform, the user simply picks a tree style and flower color. And when a deep breath is forcefully exhaled, an artistic blowing ink style tree grows. COPD is determined by the volume of breath blown in a second versus total volume. The microphone on the mobile records the sound of breath to produce a sound wave. By using the height of that sound wave, we developed an algorithm to create the figure of a tree. The size of the tree represents the user's approximate lung volume. If the result is lower than 70%, a hospital checkup is recommended. Users can even share their bespoke tree on social platforms to encourage others to take the test. Using cutting-edge technology merged with traditional art, we connected with a lost COPD generation and offered them a breath of life.
Get up. For the pain you can't keep hiding. For the cancerous nightmare that keeps you awake. Get up. For the words you don't have. For the sorries they can't help saying. Get up. Because nothing gets better in this bed. Get up. For the winds that no one can answer. Get up, because you're still you. And you get up.
The most delicate things are always packaged in bubble wrap. The universal form protection.
Strike a pose and draw attention to a life-changing illness. That's designer David Dixon's aim with his bubble wrap collection at Toronto Fashion Week.
Working with bubble wrap was quite the experience. We tried different methods, but I wanted to approach it like a fabric.
How to measure the amount of salt we add to our meals if it's impossible to calculate it? The World Health Organization recommends adding up to 1 gram of salt per day. In Argentina, 5 times that amount is ingested. Glaciar, the low-sodium water that takes care of the heart of all Argentines. Together with the Argentinian Society of Cardiology, they rethought the way to add salt to meals. Glaciar presents Pinch, a blister with 14 doses containing 500 milligrams of table salt each to precisely add the salt indicated by meal. One for lunch, one for dinner. We launched Pinch during the World Salt Awareness Week. People on the media immediately adopted the idea and began to promote it.
Glaciar y la Sociedad Argentina de Cardiología nos traen
Pinch is already indicated by cardiologists in the main clinics of Argentina as a key tool for patients to control sodium intake. Pinch, the best remedy against the excessive use of salt.
In May of 2018, As Much As I Can premiered in New York City after a 2-year regional tour. It sold out every performance and was covered by top press such as Vibe, Billboard, and Forbes magazine. An immersive experience specifically designed to change behavior and engage communities. The script was developed in collaboration with men from the communities most affected, Baltimore, Maryland, and Jackson, Mississippi. The goal of the experience was to foster empathy for those living with HIV and to reduce the stigma facing Black gay men within healthcare, their homes, and their communities. A one-of-a-kind set was created with 7 bold monochromatic rooms to enable different audience journeys and provide the chance to intimately connect with the main characters. The set was designed to place the audience within the story using different types of construction. For example, in the clinic scenes, you peer through holes in the wall, and in the church, you sit with the actors in pews. The actors interact with the audience throughout, blurring the lines between reality and fantasy to deepen the impact. Many of the actors were men from the community.
It means everything because I get a chance to actually tell my story, even though my character is like the opposite of it, but these are real life issues.
A formal evaluation revealed that audiences who attended the show expressed a greater concern for HIV in the Black gay community and a deeper sense of responsibility for their health, demonstrating that change is possible and that sometimes the only way to understand another person's experience is to inhabit it.
Literacy is a really big issue within the deaf community. 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents, and they don't have access to sign language. And we know that between the ages of 0 and 5 is crucial for language acquisition. If there is no input in terms of sign language for deaf children, then it is very difficult for them to acquire reading skills.
The emotional impact of not being able to read and write when children arrive at school is very frustrating. They recognise that their peers are advancing and they are not. And when they go home and they struggle to communicate with their family and they struggle to communicate in the school, they become further and further behind.
I have 4 children and my youngest child is Tink, who was born profoundly deaf. thinks he's finding learning to read very, very difficult.
She didn't know how to say the word or how to interpret the word. So actually you're just looking at a page with lots of things on that you have no understanding on. So her early experiences, or our early experiences of reading together, were horrendous. It would usually include lots of ripped books being thrown across the room.
Just imagine the parents reading a bedtime story from a book to their hearing child. That can't be done with a deaf child.
Story sign is really important, as there really isn't enough out there for deaf children. In fact, there really is very little. At last, with Story Sign, we've got something. We've got the technology, and it links with the traditional books. So it's encouraging deaf children to sign and read. And that's important. Is there enough awareness out there about deaf children and their literacy? I really think there isn't. Reading is so important.
Huawei. Make it possible.